Welcome back, everyone, to the Speed Souls Charity Marathon 2021. Coming up right now is Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139 ... by Jeff the Big Lizard. Jeff, take it away.
Hello, I am Jeff the Big Lizard. I eat crickets and beans. Welcome to my Nier Replicant run at SCM with my co-commentator One Cardinal. Say hi, One Cardinal.
Hello. I'm also a Replicant runner.
He's better than me, but he didn't submit. I did, so I'm doing the running. Yeah, I think that's an intro. I think there's a bidding war.
Get right into it.
Yep, that's right. So that was a bid war for the selection of the soundtrack. Let me quickly close it up and let you know the result. Set bids as closed. Go, and it looks like indeed the selection is going to be the Automata soundtrack. It won $50 to $45.
Baby.
So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the Nier Automata soundtrack, and I think we're good to go.
If Automata won, I'll swap to the Automata outfits as well. Oh, Emil doesn't have one.
Okay.
Makes sense in the spirit of things. Yeah, there's a cosmetic DLC for this game that changes a few things to Automata-y, so it kind of makes sense to do that thing. Yeah. Commentary. Let's get going, shall we? So this is a new game plus B run, which means we're going to be going from loading a save state rather than starting a new one. So I guess I'll count down for the timer, and then we can load a save state, and then we'll explain stuff during the very long opening text cutscene. So, 3, 2, 1, go. Bosh. And we are off.
So like most importantly, for everyone that's like not familiar with Replicant and how saves transfer over between endings, there's multiple endings in Replicant. Each time you finish the game, you go to the next ending in line. And basically what New Game Plus B is we are using a fresh save game from Route A, which is the first ending, and we're carrying over equipment from Route A to Route B. So you basically are rerunning half of the game, but with better gear, hence the name New Game Plus B.
So the changes are you're running the second half of the game, you've got all your gear from the first half, and they add in a bunch of extra cutscenes. But because the original game was incredibly low budget, most of these cutscenes are just long walls of text that we get to mash through. So that's what's going to be happening for the first 8 minutes of the run. There's a bit of a boss fight break here. So as you can see, we keep all our buffs from A, so we're just going to do absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage.
This creature must have. How did it even survive these past 5 years?
The lock-on system in this game is particularly difficult to handle.
It's
that's literally an example of it right there, because to deplete the boss's HP in this case, you have to break the gauges, and to do damage to the gauges, you have to hit them precisely. And the hitboxes of the gauges can clip into the walls, meaning that you can't hit them. Based on the boss's positioning, it can be really annoying.
This game's just bad in general. We all hate it. Anyone that's
the main difference between New Game or just Route A and Route B is that they like to extend on the story as you progress through the saves to variate, so you're not playing the same thing over and over again to get different endings. So they add additional snippets of story basically throughout the endings of the game.
Yeah, this category is insanely toxic, because every time you start a new run, You can see we have 4 minutes of wall of text, and then we're going to have another 4 minutes of unskippable cutscenes. So
Yeah, it's really in a in a non-convenient spot for a reset standpoint. You're basically mashing for like a minute straight every time you reset. And the start of this one has some really annoying RNG. So
yeah. Shall we give a very, very brief plot synopsis so that people can understand what's going on?
Okay.
I'm going to. Right. You're a guy.
Yeah.
You live in a world. There's magic and stuff. You find a book. Books gives you magic. Wow. Your sister's ill. You go meet some people. Your village gets attacked. Some dude yoinks your sister. Time skip. Guy turns into a skeleton. Get some rocks.
Okay.
Kill the Shadow Lord. Save your sister. Bosh. Ending 2.
To protect it from the horror of the shades.
I guess that's correct, to be honest. For the most part, yeah. The first part of the game you play as Child Nier, which is like a slower and more annoying version of Nier to use. The first part of the game is significantly longer than the second part of the game.
Child Nier doesn't have access to the spear, and the spear is the weapon that gives us most of our movement tech. So playing as adults just generally a lot more fun from a speed perspective, because there are a lot of skips that rely on spear movement being a lot better, as you will see presently.
Indeed, yeah.
But yeah, as you can see, we're still just absolutely going ham on that mash button.
Yeah. We'll go more into some of the particular things in this category soon.
Yeah.
It will get more interesting. It's just a very slow start.
Yeah, about half an hour in, you get a little bit of interesting stuff. You get like shrine skips are soon, but then you
have shrine.
Yeah, then you have Seafront.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you'll understand soon.
Now we have control of our character properly.
And as you can see,
this is
we're
the overworld.
Absolutely going ham on the spear. The fastest movement in this game, pretty much, is to roll and spear, rolling attack, over and over again.
Yeah, so there's two types of attack types in this game. You can use light or heavy attacks. Light attacks are faster, but they do less damage. Heavy attacks are slower, but they do more damage.
And here's the first glitch.
For the most part.
Whoa! Look at that glitch. I'll explain guard lifts. Shall I, or do you want to explain guard lifts?
Either. I don't mind.
I'll do it.
Sure.
In Replicant, there's an attack you can normally do, where if you do a jump and then a heavy attack, you do like a lift, like that. However, there's a glitch where if you guard in midair and then heavy attack while not moving forwards, it'll perform the lift animation at the peak of your jump. So you can do something like that and get a lot more height than you'd normally be able to. So we use this a lot to get height and just improve movement in general places. They're actually quite difficult. You only have like a 1 or 2 frame window on the inputs, but they're consistent, so you can learn them pretty well.
For like everyone that's new to running the game, I'd say they're the hardest things to get used to doing. Like it's literally impossible, like almost impossible to do an entire run like of any percent and not drop a guard lift.
I'm absolutely gonna miss one.
Yeah, like it's just how finicky they are, and you need to be able to see Nier to be able to actually get, like, if you want to do them consistently, you have to see Nier like in the air, especially like your lift off animation, because you have only a few frames after he leaves the floor to be able to perform the lift in the air. Yeah, there's been a lot of controversial like comments on how feasible they are to perform, but I think it's just a matter of getting used to doing them over and over again. Really, it just comes with practice, honestly.
Yeah, one of the many places they used is ladder animations in this game are slow, so you want to get on the ladder as high as possible. So we'll use guard lifts before getting on there, combined with a bit of spear height gaining, so that we have less ladder climbing and more jumping. Also, this is the Nier Automata soundtrack you paid for, going in the background. Sounds pretty epic. Yeah, Nier music is like
one thing
good. I'll go for it.
One thing that we should mention is that in New Game Plus B, we decide you're allowed to be whatever level you want, but if you want to go the fastest, you have to be level 99 because basically all movement tech that you do is sped up based on your level.
All right,
for the most part, like your general height is increased based on your level.
So skips coming up here.
You're doing okay. You're doing this one good.
Oh, see, okay, that's a guard lift. Missed. That's ladder clip.
So this segment of the game is about, I don't know, like doing all of these skips right here save quite a lot of time.
Yeah,
like
you're not
usually
gonna
you have
see
to go
it.
all the way around these rooms. So
there's some puzzle/combat box sections you're supposed to go through here, but because the spear is just insanely broken, you can use its movement to skip all of them.
like the best way to move in the air while moving quickly and saving time just over jumping. After your guard lift, you can do a heavy. Every time you heavy with a spear, it's basically a diagonal piercing attack downwards, but it slightly increases your height every time you do it. You're limited to one double jump, like you can jump once after jumping, and you can dash once in the air. And you can basically use those to cancel your heavies and increase your height gradually.
Yeah, so if you combine that with guard lifts, you can get a lot of height. So if you're gonna see
you
right
can gain
here,
a lot of height.
you can get all the way over.
That's really nice of you, but you still
Like usually you'd have to go all the way around the left here and do quite a ways to get around.
We seem to be surrounded
Alright, and we're on to the first boss fight.
So the reason why everything is getting one shot is simply because we're level 99. Magic scales, like the magic damage in this game scales off of your level. So the higher level you are, the more damage you're doing with magic. And the best tool we have in the game is magic, and it's in the form of like a machine gun basically. It's the best way to say how it is. Basically, it's called Dark Blast, so yeah, you can talk about it if you want.
There's a spell we have access to called Dark Blast, which is this pew pew thing you're seeing. It's like Pod Fire in Automata if you played that. But it's got two modes, so you can either hold it, and it's like a steady stream, or you can tap it, and it does one big blast. But, because the game's bad, you can just absolutely mash it, and then do a bunch of damage, and it hurts your fingers, but it's really efficient damage per second.
So we got a bad RNG pattern on the boss here, like going into phase 2 of the boss. He can spin, or he can charge at you, or just be idle, basically. And you lose 19 seconds if he spins. If he doesn't, then you just get 3 time save. This is usually where, like, if you're aiming to get a really good time in this category, this is usually where you reset.
This is the reset
if you
point.
get that. Yep.
It's
this
like punches.
fight right here is also RNG based as well. Kaine can't be killed. She jumps to each wall, and you have to knock her down. And Emil has to be near her to activate her gauge. You have to break the gauge to finish the fight. And if Emil is attacking, he will not go to Kaine, and Kaine will wake up from her stunned state, and then you will just lose time. So yeah, this, like, the first boss in the game has quite a bit of variables in terms of RNG, and it can be very annoying. Also, if you draw your weapon here, you lose time. Because of the... this game has really long pickup animations with, like, items, quest items in particular. And if you have your weapon drawn, it actually takes longer to pick up the item if your weapon is drawn. So in some cases, you would actually not use your weapon to move, and you would pick up the item simply because it's faster. Because of the drawing animation taking... it's like 4 seconds.
Yeah, it's really long. Alright, so next up is Junk 1. At this point in the game, there's 5 areas that we need to do. Six areas, because it's Replicant. There's 6 areas we need to do. And we get a few options in which order we do them. Some feed into each other. Some we choose. So at the start we go to the Junk Heap, because that's one of the options. And the Junk Heap in New Game Plus B is quite long and tedious. So I'll explain that when we get there. We're going to see some more guard lift movement here. Okay, we're going to see some more guard lift movement here. To skip most of this ladder and box section. Wow.
Oh, yeah, you were too short.
Yeah, I know that.
So, because he, yeah, so like if you drop a guard lift, all it does is because you're doing heavy and guard at the same time. If you mistime the guard, like for the brief millisecond that you're in the air, it will just act as if you've done a heavy, and yeah, like that alone loses you time. So,
you have to be picking which guard lifts you do, because if you miss them, you can lose a bit of time. So
yeah, some of them are very vital. Yeah, you can lose a lot of time based on if you drop the inputs or not. This is more additional cutscene. Like, if you were to be on Route A right now, like some of these additional cutscenes wouldn't be playing and we'd go straight into the area.
Yeah, that's
this
a lot
one
of
is
additional
on Route A
cutscenes.
as well. This one isn't. It's basically just like filling in on story that's not properly distinguished in Route A.
They might know something about this.
Let's go.
We didn't really touch on that clip, by the way.
We don't need to. No one cares. We can do it later. We'll do it again.
Okay, I mean, this section is...
Nah, this section's really intense, dude.
Okay, dude.
Alright, so we're about to go into Junk Heap, which is the longest and hardest part of the run. So this is, if we're gonna die anyway, it's gonna be here. I think there's a cutscene first.
That dark, sassy.
Alright, we did Junk Heap, guys, let's go!
Shame about the older lad.
Whew, that was a close one. Yeah, basically, I was pulling your leg there. It's actually, we just don't do it. It's all a ruse.
No surprise.
Yeah. Normally, you'd have to go through the Junk Heap to get a upgrade item, which is required for the quest. But because we're New Game Plus, we can just keep the item from our first New Game cycle and skip the entire area. That's pretty sick.
Yeah, so as soon as you enter that area, it's looking for an item in your inventory. If you have that item, then it automatically completes the area. So yeah, conveniently enough, we can just add the item for a New Game Plus B save and we can skip the whole area.
Yep.
It saves about 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's a big skip. Skip in very heavy quotation marks.
Skip. Yes.
Skip.
Cheese, I'd say.
Alright, we need to think of something to talk about for the next 10 minutes. Because this is where the
I mean, we can literally
really
just talk
gets
about
boring.
the boar. Like, this is the main
boar.
area that you'll be running through quite a few times. This game has quite a bit of backtracking.
Boar.
You do a quest as Child Nier earlier in the game. It's completed for your entire playthrough once you finish it, and you're basically unlocking a method of travel in the plains because the plains is very large. The boar is really fast, and it literally saves like so much time over walking. Like, you pick it up in the early game. You have to kill the boar as to finish the quest, but we do the quest very early in the run simply because it allows us to move the fastest.
But we don't do that here, we just do it at some point in the save, and then we have a boar.
We already have it unlocked. Like, as far as we're concerned, we did the boar quest in Route A, so we already have the boar unlocked. So...
Yeah, there's basically no routing in this run. because we just anything that we could possibly want to pick up, we just pick up before the new game cycle. So it's really just running
Yeah,
from place to place.
Familiar.
Yeah, the only routing is like picking the optimal order for completion of bosses, basically.
And the best part
You
is
can think
that
of this category as like a boss roulette, to be honest.
best part is that because the between all of them you pretty much have to go back here. The order you do them in doesn't matter for speed. It's like seconds between the orders. So that's great fun. Yeah, I like to call the ball
The only...
pull the ball.
Alright.
I don't know if you have a name for the ball.
No,
Well,
certainly not.
well
I
me and
mean,
Pa-
the
me and
ball
Paul.
is quite nice to me, to be honest. I don't crash very often. If you hit something as the ball, you crash and you lose like a bunch of time. So like, while going at
never
this high
crashes.
speed, you have to make sure you don't crash. There's some really hard angles actually to get. We'll probably be seeing those towards the end of
I
the run
will
anyway.
absolutely 100% crash at some point. Alright,
Yeah,
seafront.
there's some very hard angles. So this section sucks. Like it really sucks, to be honest. Like the entire section of this like part is terrible.
May I explain seafront?
Yes.
So what we're about to
Go
do
ahead.
is we have 2 consecutive fetch quests. Between all of them there are load zones which will play long unskippable cutscenes. After those 6 cutscenes and 2 fetch quests, we get to go onto a side-scrolling... not side-scrolling, 2D walkabout lore area, which will last another 5 minutes. And then after that, we get a scripted boss that we can't kill faster than the dialogue. Is that about right?
Yeah. This whole section is usually around about 7 minutes in any percent. It's 10 minutes in this run instead because of the additional cutscenes they added. None of them are skippable. We've tried to skip them. If
Yeah,
you do
this
skip
is-
the cutscene triggers, it just plays them on the next load. So even if you do skip them, they literally all get queued. Like, so you literally can't avoid them.
Yeah, there was a skip we found
And,
for this one, where you go out of bounds to enter the tavern, and then can leave the tavern without using the door, but it just messes up your triggers, and it's basically a massive time loss to do, so it's... great game. We love Replicant.
Yeah, finding skips in this game is really difficult, simply because of the fact that the entire story is scripted to a point where you have to complete previous activities for triggers to appear. So say, like, if you want to access... you'll see in this section, but we have to access the boat, and if we don't complete the pre-requirements, we can't access the boat. So if we try to find skips that don't activate the triggers, then we technically can't go around it. And in this case, the only way to get the triggers to appear is watching the cutscenes. So yeah, very unfortunate that we have to sit through 3 minutes of cutscenes simply because they're triggered by cutscenes themselves, like
Damn.
the activator for the progression.
Such buffoonery does little more than wear this old tome out.
Yeah, this game's actually it's pretty garbage, right? I think you'd agree.
I think I'm just unbiased. I think I'm just biased because I've grinded this game too much.
But yeah, the game if you actually watch the cutscenes, they're quite good. And the gameplay is quite fun. But I hate it as a speed game.
Yeah, as a speed game, it's pretty difficult.
But-
Simply because like there's no consistent difficulty throughout the game. Like it's just too much breaks between each of the difficult sections, and the difficult sections are filled with so many like hard inputs that yeah, if you drop any of them, you lose a bunch of time, and it just gets really tedious.
That said,
It just depends on to what extent you play.
that said, there are some actually very cool skips that you'll be seeing later,
Yes.
which almost make it worth it.
Lots changed since then.
Almost.
Find something that hasn't. In fact, that couple is still arguing almost.
We
Yeah,
have
sorry,
like
Paul.
other categories that are really fun. Oh, you crashed.
No, we have other categories.
Yeah, I mean PSW is really fun. That's slower, by the way.
That's cap. That's cap.
Okay. I thought you said PSW was really good.
Up
Yeah.
I mean,
not
it's
a-
good compared to any percent.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a category called any percent PSW, which is basically
I don't know
has
if we
all
can
of the
explain
skips.
it without big spoilers.
Yeah, we can't. It's basically spoilers, but it has the most amount of skips.
You think we've done spoilers so far? We've done no spoilers compared to the spoilers would be
Yeah, I mean-
spoiling if we spoiled any percent PSW.
Most people have no clue what's going on if they
Oh,
haven't played the game.
that fast rolling is actually some very weird movement tech. I'll explain during the cutscene.
It's
This
not
is-
actually faster, believe it or not.
It is. It's faster downhill.
Downhill.
Yeah, this
Yes,
is why you
but-
never see it. Essentially, you block and then you spam roll and jump to cancel your rolling animations.
Yeah. I think there's one place where it's useful, and that's at Shrine. Like, as you're going to Shrine on Child. I think that's the only time you're, like, properly traveling downhill for it to be enough of a time save.
I mean, I think
it's
probably
comparable.
slightly faster because I'd lost the ball, but yeah, anywhere there's a steep downhill where your spear would take you into the air, it's quite slow, so you want to use that.
Almost every time you crash, it's always faster to remount and dash.
Yeah,
But it depends if the gate's there or not. Because if the gate's
oh
not
my
there,
god! Doom got 17k.
then,
Can we get some Let's Go Dooms in chat if anyone's actually listening to this one? Let's go Doom.
Hog.
Woo. Okay, we're almost finished with the fetch questing part of the tedium.
I'll go a bit into how Dark Blast works. So in this
No.
game, you have magic and melee. Magic, they're also known as sealed verses, and you collect them throughout the game. In New Game Plus B, we have all of them. They're basically different types of damaging skills that can be used throughout the whole playthrough. We have things like Dark Lance, which is basically a spear that you can throw at long distances. It's like fast.
But yeah, this cutscene's
Dark Wall as well. So
this cutscene's kind of funny because she's supposed to be singing, but it just sounds like. So
I don't know what noise that is.
It's supposed to be
It's
singing,
supposed to be
but they use
humming.
like ship horn noises, and then she's using a bad ship horn noise.
It sounds like a broken recorder.
What's
Oh, dude. Remember Recorder? Did you do Recorder lessons in year
Yes, I
2?
did.
Oh, dude. Sitting on the little mats in the hall. Of course, later they're just like blowing into the recorder, playing 3 blind mice.
Indeed.
Do, do, do. Do, do, do. Do, 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 do. Oh, dude. You know, I could have gone
Right.
big in the
Let's
recorder
head for
world
the
if I
illusion.
wanted to.
Kinda. Immediately.
I had natural
The only
talent.
lizard to play a recorder.
What is
Yeah, it's real music.
We have our tankiest boss coming up, basically.
Well, not for a
Um,
while.
Figure out some way to get inside that thing.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, it's about a 3-minute segment, I guess, but you've got cutscenes to go through as well.
It's so long. Yeah. Shipwreck's bad.
This is the section that Jeff was talking about. That's basically a 2D section. There's also a cutscene before you enter it as well, conveniently placed.
Yeah,
Makes
we'll
the
talk
run
about
feel
it
like
more.
it's really fast.
Talk about it more when it's happening. Normally, you walk through it and you interact with stuff, and it's like this cool area where you kind of piece together a story. But in a speedrun, it's just being really slow. So as you can see, we're now 2D run, and
So,
we actually gain access to a lot of interesting movement options in the 2D section. As you can see, we can walk the other direction,
Gloomy.
and we can
No
jump.
hard time imagining any
And that-
tales
that's our
floating around
movement.
here.
interacted with the door.
Oh yeah, this is the big skip. So if we interact with the door twice, we skip the dialogue.
It's
and we
not
can
that
pick
dull.
up the lantern.
Okay. So dialogue, as I said earlier, like triggers are based on pre-requirements, and in this case, you can't pick the lantern up until the dialogue's been exhausted, and you can boost the dialogue by interacting with like doors, and it will basically queue the dialogue faster, so you can pick the lantern up faster. Only saves 2 seconds, but
Yeah, this entire seafront section was added for the the version 1.22
yeah,
remake
indeed.
master thing. So when you're comparing times of the two games, this is where a lot of our time loss comes from. Just having an entire extra area to do.
This is the only part of the game that currently has no skips, besides from like dialogue optimization and a tad bit of movement optimization. Like then none of them are skips. Because we're limited to movement, we can't actually do anything in this area. Like it's biggest time sink. Yeah, it'd be really hard to find a skip here. I've searched a lot. And, I still can't find anything.
There's nothing.
There's like, because of your limited movement options, you can't actually do anything, and a lot of the tech in this game, like clipping and so on, requires you to be able to jump. And because you're limited to the really small jumping in here, you can't actually get high. You can't attack either, so...
Wow, I can't skip it. True 9 balls, Sarah, whoever you are. Stop whinging and enjoy your 2D side-scroller where you can only walk and mash text. It's the best part of
The only reason why we would like to find a skip for it is because it's very slow.
Oh wait, you can't
to the rest of the
down
game, to be
ladders
honest.
because this game's good.
Yeah, but you hold down and then press
Oh man.
B. I don't know. It sends you off the ladder.
Speak to
Spooky cutscene.
Oh no! Oh, this bit's gonna. If you get scared easily, I'd recommend looking away because we're gonna get some real spooks here.
Oh, they are all. Oh, why did Cotton pull?
Yeah, everyone's dead. And then we get some spooky music.
Music play. Design.
And it turns out the little girl was a shade all along. Have we explained what shades are?
No.
Shades are bad guys. Bosh. Explain your shades.
They are your general enemy in this game, and there is a lot of lore behind them, but it would be a lot of spoilers to talk about it.
Yeah. And we've done none of those so far.
Yes, the speedrun's very chill. It's really cool.
Smell is getting ripe. How you feeling there, sunshine?
Not great. Can't you tell?
Don't worry, the difficulty is going to ramp up like drastically soon.
Shades are the good guys. Mash with another brain dead take in chat. No offense, Mash, but you're wrong. And you should feel bad.
Good guys.
Yeah.
The most annoying thing about the end of every run in this game, besides from 2, they all have a really annoying skip that will choke you out like really good times. It's really easy to fail as well. Yeah, so every single run is always heavy loaded at the end. Like every single run has a lot of annoying stuff going on at the end. You can lose a lot of time. It's really annoying when you're running like a 3-hour game. Towards the end of it, you can choke the most. So pretty difficult.
I'm choking here.
With lots of
good
practice, you do get used to it.
Good enough. Alright, we're going up to some actual content here. Let's go.
Yep, we have a boss fight. There's a lot of things you can do in this boss fight to save quite a bit of time.
Yeah, like mash heavy.
Yeah, I mean you can also queue your attacks with the dialogue.
Being hurt by the sun.
That is not precisely the
This boss is magic resistant. This boss is also an additional boss to only Replicant version 1.2, and in every single playthrough you do, this boss's HP will increase. Or, well, it doesn't necessarily increase, right? But when dialogue is happening in this game, it applies a defensive buff to like the boss that's talking. It's basically to stop you from killing the boss so fast that you skip the dialogue. So you
And
hear like everything.
this applies to every boss in the game.
Yeah.
That dialogue just makes them insanely tanky.
I don't know where the singing lesson
Yeah.
is it?
So.
Oh my god, I'm choking.
Don't stop now. Focus on the next
Magic buff
ones.
here.
I don't need it. Too good, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. So basically, yeah.
That's
the
part of
boss
the
just got destroyed.
that's the part of the boss that matters.
Recover from such a grievous wound.
This part of the boss,
Ordinary attacks aren't gonna do
it actually doesn't matter what we do. It's like entirely on rails. As you can see, if I try and do damage, it just heals up. So if we have any donations, this is a perfect time to read some out.
I'm not in the business of using my blades on people.
Alright, well, I have $5 from Siazin, who posted a very, very long copy pasta about snakes and lizards, but I will read only part of it. And that is the interesting part, that several common groups of legless lizards have eyelids and external ears, which snakes lack, although this rule is not universal. Thank you for the $5 and the interesting facts, Yazin. I also want to remind you that your donations are going directly to Save the Children, which was founded in 1919, and now for over a century they've been a global force in the protection of children's rights worldwide. They have programs in over 120 countries and have helped reach and impact over 1 billion children's lives. So please keep on donating towards this great cause that we have. There's still a bunch of bid wars for the final relay of the day later today. And yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, the relay later is going to be pretty sick. You can bid on applying nerfs to one of the teams for each of the games. So if you would like to do that, go donate, click the little thing on the side, and make sure it says no shield Team Swill Doge.
How can it withstand such an onslaught?
Hey,
So
don't
I
let
can
yourself get influenced, okay? Choose whatever you want.
The self-advertisement.
Yeah. We can't actually destroy the boss during this circle. The summoning circles are normally when we're supposed to damage them, but this one's scripted, so we fail it. Even
You
if
can
we
break
have
it
like,
on the other endings, just not this one. Yeah, so phase 2 is completely scripted. Phase 1 is based on the set. Like you have to fight 2 heads and tentacles that come out of the boat. If you break the first head fast enough and destroy the tentacles fast enough on phase 2, and then on phase 3, if you like did the other 2 phases fast enough, you immediately break the 3rd head, which is why it got 1 shot in the last phase.
But yeah, we're gonna die here. Except the postman comes and whacks it with a stick.
He's very angry. Yeah.
He's powered with the rage of 1,000 postmen being chased by dogs. He fights off the shade, and we all survive. So yeah, the postman's the real MVP of the game. Without him, we all would have died there.
It's actually quite a sad part of the game, to be honest.
Yeah, but we don't want to spoil the sadness. Go and play the game for the real sad. Oh yeah, we have to tell this woman that we found her husband as a corpse in the bottom of a boat. Because it's faster than lying to her.
So the outcome is the same regardless of what you say.
Yeah.
So
We should.
Alright, and now we're into the parts of the game that are actually kind of interesting.
yeah.
What is with all the snakeists in chat trying to claim that snakes aren't lizards? Sick to death of it.
Racist. Jesus.
Hey, Kane,
Yeah.
when you were threatening that
I
shade
believe
with
the
your
amount of
thing,
cutscenes gets
how do
reduced
you
from
know
this
it was
point
trying to
onwards.
protect
Yeah,
us?
that's
I
a big
literally don't
cutscene
remember
dump.
because, like,
All right.
yeah,
Facade's not that bad. Junk 2's not that bad. We skip a lot of them in Castle. And Forest of Myths like the same. So yeah, it's actually okay from this point. I think it's faster to drown warp here.
no, it's not.
Well, I drown warped here.
It takes 23 seconds to drown warp. It takes 20 seconds to get.
Oh,
Everything
there goes the run.
It's
Might as well
not
reset.
that bad. Okay, so we can talk about drown warping though, because you did that.
Yeah.
So, you wanna talk about it?
Yeah, so the game has in every area scripted sections that you spawn out if you drown. And sometimes those areas are closer to where you want to be than not drowning would get you. So you just drown and you move there. It's pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
That
In certain areas, you can save a lot of time. So it's used across the run quite a few times.
Yeah. So now that we've done this, we're going to go to the our post box to check that, which no one would ever forget to do in a run. Because if you don't go to the post box, then you can't go to the area and you have to reset. But thankfully, every Nier Replicant runner is incredibly smart and has never forgotten to go to the post box.
Yeah, so there's like very little, like because of the amount of backtracking you do in this game, it's really hard to keep up with where you are sometimes. Like because of repetitivity. Like I've forgotten the mailbox quite a few times in my runs, and then you go to this next area, and then you realise that you haven't interacted with it, and your run is over at that point. So yeah, that applies to every category because you have to do it in every category. So yeah,
The wall there's
these small
actually-
things that you need to remember.
The wall there's a lot higher than it looks visually, which is what we need to do. More height than you'd expect.
Yeah, it has like a massive invisible boundary that stops you from going over the wall.
Should it?
But yeah, so we've just been invited to a wedding in this place called Facade, which is full of weirdos that wear masks all the time.
We can certainly guess what they've been eating.
That's why it's called Facade, because they put on a facade. It's a cheeky bit of wordplay.
The white flowers take a while to get because you have to combine numerous different flowers to get them. So
You can pick one up if you kill a
Yeah.
boss. There's a certain area, but
you
I'm
also
not
can
gonna,
do that.
can't tell you that because it's spoilers.
I mean, I think they're talking about the achievement. You know
Okay.
how you have to get all of the.
I don't
yeah,
do
you
all
have
the
to grow them.
achievements. When's
Yeah,
all
you have
the-
to grow them. It takes ages. To be honest, you can use. You could probably use a game speed changer to speed up the game time.
Nah, you can it goes by
so
your
you
system
could,
clock. So if you're offline, you can use your
oh yeah, I
Windows
remember it
system
being
clock.
mentioned.
Yeah, I tried to make farming using the system clock and plants efficient for money, but it's just still garbage.
It's just availability, isn't it? We can't get like the end game herbs from the get go, so
Yeah. Yeah, when are you routing all achievements speedrun? That's what the people want to see.
I don't.
We business.
Yeah.
never.
Dang.
It depends. I think that'd be very painful to do. Like really painful, to be honest. It'd be long. It'd be longer than
All endings.
be longer
Which-
than yeah, than all endings. That's for
Which
sure.
no one's run yet either, because it's
Yeah.
too long.
Yeah.
You can move your camera there. Yeah, just more dialogue.
We have another boss coming up.
Yeah. Not gonna spoil it. I'm gonna spoil it. It's a big dog. I'm sorry, all the dog lovers in chat.
Dodge.
Yeah, here we have a very little, small, cheeky bit of tech,
Aw, weddings
and
are
that
the
we can use our
best.
buff before the
There's
boss
flowers
spawns.
everywhere. Everyone's
That's
happy.
really
It's
sick. So we can just use it here.
I'm kind of jealous.
It's actually really misleading. Like applying buffs before fights make you lose the visual effect if you go into a cutscene. Like if you apply the buff before the cutscene, you lose the visual effect, but the buff itself is actually still applied. So it's really misleading. It seems like it's not, but it is.
And I'm getting moved here.
This boss is very annoying. He can jump around quite a lot, and I'm pretty sure the fastest way to actually kill him is holding down light when you get him in a corner, and then he just dies. But
then we go talk to him again, and we get to fight this boss again. But yeah, the wolf just killed the girl that was getting married to the king, and now the king's kind of pissed off because, you know, dog just killed his wife.
Are you ready?
So we're gonna go get revenge on the dogs.
If they...
Yo, 9k? Insane.
Yeah, we have a pretty poggers donation from Sino, donating $44, saying just 9k pog you. Thank you so much for the generous donation, Sino, and thank you everyone for helping us raise such a generous amount of money for a great cause. Thank you.
What a guy, Sino. Absolutely love him.
let's go.
Okay, there's some cheeky stuff we can do at the start of this fight. Where the boss jumps down for a bit, there's a little bit of a shout, and we can whack him while he's doing that.
Yep.
Doesn't really matter.
The strategy for this boss deviates
Well, I didn't.
to how you normally would do it. Slightly behind. Oh, you missed it. You can hit him with DB. No,
You can't.
Never mind.
Yeah, he's got that little invis wall. It's okay. We basically one-shot him.
He's gonna get
when he
one-shot
comes down
anyway.
later. What is this music? I thought, why is the automata music not like at all combat-y here?
Normally in this fight, the boss jumps to 3 different platforms, and you'd have to guard lift up there to deplete his HP. So when he jumps down, he's at a lower HP already. You don't have to do that in this category, but he can't be killed while he's on the platform. You can get him to 1 HP, but he will heal to a certain amount. It's about 20%. In this case, we don't do it because he dies like immediately.
Yeah.
So you have to kill all the wolves, and then once the wolves are all killed, he jumps down from the platform. Because we have such strong weapons, we're doing a lot of damage. Like all weapons in this game have based on their level, and when you get them, they basically have higher magical damage based on what level the weapon is on and what weapon it is. In this case, the Phoenix Spear is the best obtainable weapon in this category. That has 80% magical damage. So that's the reason why our magic is doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, so the damage is the same, but the spear has faster attacks and also better magic damage.
You go across the river here.
Oh, insane forgetting.
Yeah, it's actually really easy to forget it, to be honest. The way DB works, like a bit more about how it works. So when you're charging magic in this game, the game actually slows down, so you lose time if you're charging magic. That's one of the main reasons why you mash DB. It's it literally does more damage and it's faster, like in general, because it doesn't sort of gain speed. But every single time you hit the DB button or Dark Blast, it does a set amount of damage, and there is no limit to how many times you can press the button. Like you can literally mash it as fast as you want, and it's gonna go off like as many times as you can mash.
I can't believe I missed that skip twice. It's so easy.
Yeah, it's because you swapped your angle towards the
Yeah,
further right
I know.
side.
I agree. I know. I greeded, and then I was punished for not greeding, and for not. Yeah,
It's actually quite hard to get to the second platform. Like you have to get a lot of distance.
Yeah, we're back in the junk heap now. We're gonna actually do junk heap this time.
Hey, great. I don't.
Yeah, it's about 200%. So
I just
if you can
noticed
mash,
that guy's missing an arm. I didn't notice that before.
Yeah.
Pretty sick. Wish I had a robot arm.
Like,
but it'd make you way better at speedrunning if you like program your arm.
I guessed.
Like,
15,
program it to mash DB really fast. Transcend human limits with your robot arm.
If you can do like 14 CPS, then that, like, you can literally do Dark Blast at 14 CPS. Like, it scales basically off how fast your mashing is.
Alright,
and that causes a ridiculous time gap in this game. So
we got a skip coming up that we're gonna talk about. New tech.
The elder brother postponed his joy for the sake of his
Well, that's not good.
Do you think
So, there's a glitch in this game
was ever
where
truly happy?
Just making his little brother happy would have been enough.
there's a glitch in this game where your heavy attacks give you a little bit of height, but you can cancel your heavy attack by swapping your weapon in this menu, and then you can just chain your heavy attacks together to get as much height as you want. And we call this glitch infinite height because you can get infinite height by so you do heavy attack, open the menu, swap the weapon, another heavy attack, and you just keep going.
it's actually quite hard to perform, like, for large periods of time, like especially in terms of inputting.
Yeah, you get like a
if you drop an input, you're gonna die. So
you get like a 8-frame window maybe. It's quite large, but you have to do it quite a lot.
you lose height though if you don't get it like perfectly. To be fair, like you need to do it like
Oh,
well.
dude, I
or
missed the thing. I'm just falling now. I didn't load in.
Okay. I found this trick like quite a while back, to be honest, but we use infinite height to get out of bounds in like all cases in this game. It gives us really small gradual height increases, and we can clip out of bounds. And in this case, in that elevator room, there's a small, like, past a certain point in the ceiling, you can clip out of bounds. There's a massive long minecart section that you have to sit on, and the minecart is really slow, and it's literally faster to clip out of bounds and fall. If you fall for more than 3 seconds in this game, you're game over. So you use an interaction. Magic is the only thing that can be spammed while falling. So we use magic to maintain our death timer from ticking down. And there is a load trigger, like right at the end of the map, that spans infinitely underneath the map. So if we hit it while we're falling, it will load us into the next part of the game. So yeah, that's what Jeff was doing there. He was just maintaining his, stopping his death timer, and he fell into the load trigger, which sends him into the next part. It saves not as much time as what you would think, but it saves about 30 seconds.
30 seconds if you do optimal infinite heights and you time your falling optimally, which is really difficult.
Yeah. It's also, but most importantly, it's pretty cool tech. It saves time, and it gets rid of a tedious section of the run. Like the minecart section is really,
And it just
Very
looks
uninteractive.
it just looks cool.
It,
Like, I mean,
it
that's-
does look really cool, yeah.
This is what matters. I don't know many games where you fall into an infinitely spanning load trigger to skip an area.
Yeah. It's the only one in the game as well, very unfortunately, because we'd be able to use this tech in other places as well if it was relevant.
They do this in Castlevania
Yeah.
Curse of Darkness, like the exact same method. Okay,
Pretty
but like
cool.
if there's any other games, okay, apparently it's less cool than I thought it was.
I've never heard of a shade living with
I
a
mean,
machine. What's that?
Don't
about?
care, mate.
it's because it's in other
Don't
games
know,
doesn't
don't
make it
care.
as
All that
as
Don't
cool
care.
or less
Kill them
cool.
both.
Replicant did it first.
Oh, you mean the menu lifting? Okay.
Just the menu. Oh, okay. Well, we've got a boss coming up here. This is quite cool tech. I'll explain after we do it.
Yeah, Jeff figured some nice things out about
Right.
this recently. Oh, somewhat recently.
Yeah, when I was prepping for this marathon. So that's the boss. As you may remember, we explained a mechanic where during dialogue, bosses have a lot of extra resistances. But the dialogue for this boss doesn't kick in until about a second after you enter the room. So if you mash DB as you enter, you can kill the boss before the dialogue, like, hyper armor kicks in, and completely skip the first phase. It only really works in this category because you just don't have enough damage in the other ones. But
Yeah,
it's quite cool tech.
It saves time. It saves time in every category, but obviously the effectiveness is based on how much damage you're dealing. So in this category, it saves the most amount of time. That whole segment where parts of the ceiling were falling down. Normally, we'd actually be doing a death skip here, which is basically where if the boss drops to 1 HP and you die, what's happening, like Jeff killing the small shade there, would be happening immediately after you leave the game over screen. It's BP death skip basically. If you die during the that section, it will immediately queue up the next section instead, so you can save time from that as well.
Hey,
But we can't do it in this category because we've got way too much health. Because we're level
Yes.
99. But we also want to be level 99 because all the animations are faster. So it's maybe someday
Yeah, it's a
someone will
trade-off.
go out with less health so you can do
Very
beefy death skip.
Yeah.
But I doubt it.
Yeah, the primary problem is you
Popola said
you get healed after each segment of the game, so there's barely any points that you can actually take damage. And because we do minecart skip, we can't take damage from a minecart section. So it's a trade-off, but it ends up being a save. So
What?
don't mash too fast here, by the way.
Nah, it's fine. I can't mash fast enough. It's not physically possible for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so if you mash too fast here, you soft lock. It's happened to me a lot of times, and it's not very great.
Yeah, I can't do it. I just can't mash dialogue fast enough to get that soft lock. So
It's
yeah,
such a weird soft lock.
it
It's
is.
the only one in the game that functions like that. It's one of the additional cutscenes added by Route B, so I assume that that's probably
Right.
some kind of reason as to why it causes the game to soft lock.
This area
Like you just
coming
can't
up.
move near.
This area coming up
Enjoy.
is another dialogue area, not dialogue, text mashing area. I've got to watch for like 2 sections in it to get answers to some questions at the end. But for the most part, I'm just skipping through some text. So if there's any donations, this is a perfect time to read them out because it's just text mashing.
Alrighty, well, I wanna read up a donation indeed. So there's $22.22 from Peanuts saying, Vegeta, what does the scouter say about SCM's power level? Well, that it's probably over 9,000! Indeed. Can we get to 10k by the end of the marathon, though? That is the question, or even better. I also want to quickly remind you that, as with every year, we have original merch design for this marathon. All of the proceeds from it go directly to Save the Children, so you can get yourself some nice t-shirts or stickers or hoodies or mouse pads or art prints or even mugs, if that is something that you would be interested in, and all of it goes directly to charity, so don't forget about that, guys. Link is in the chat.
Do the mugs work yet? Because they were having issues with the mugs earlier.
Let me have a look. I'm not quite certain.
As if someone got a copper mug.
Nah, it seems like the website is still having issues with it, unfortunately.
Rip.
So yeah, minus mugs. But all the other products should be fine. And the design that we got this year from John Devlin is absolutely stunning. So it has Priscilla on it, everyone's favorite waifu. I mean, until Elden Ring comes out, of course, and you get an Accord. But until then, Priscilla is the one.
You know, Accord's actually a character in Nier, so that's like, wow, crazy. Look at all these guard lifts I'm doing. First try. Wow.
Sad. Oh, that's really sad.
I got all the important
It's
ones.
also a car. So maybe you will get a Honda in Elden Ring. Who knows?
Oh man.
That'd be sick.
Elden Ring car.
Honda Civic in Elden Ring.
Imagine the Souls game where you're just driving around in a car. Sick.
Yeah. Finally, the card game we've all been waiting for will come out.
Yeah.
Just run over deacons. Finally get some sweet revenge. Alright, we're gonna ride the boar to the next area. This area's got some quite cool tech that I will explain.
Yes,
It's my turn to explain the tech.
indeed.
But yeah, Paul's just gonna take us there. Love
Aren't
Paul.
you glad to be going back home, Kaine?
The village.
Go on, Paul, let's go.
So many terrible little memories.
It's a
isn't
kind of
it?
meme with the loading here, because there's dialogue going on.
Yeah, so the loading like plays later because the dialogue is going on. And there's
Okay,
just this. I don't know what they're talking about.
Nah, me neither. So, the area has an interesting mechanic where because the entire floor is like a hole, there's some... You can void out if you fall off. And when you void out, you lose a bit of health, and then it teleports you back to somewhere that you were last standing. But there's only a few set points, and we can actually manipulate these points based on where we choose to stand. So for example, right there, we used a void point to skip going up a ladder and come to see this guy. So we're going to set up some void out zones here for during the boss fight. You'll see it more when the boss starts. So there's a void trigger here that we want to get, and then there's two coming up that we want to skip. So we teleport back there when we void out.
They're triggered via where you stand, so you have to go around them using aerial attacks.
Yeah.
That's why he's jumping off the platform there.
Beware, this
Oh,
man's
no.
shade.
Indeed. My reading.
Too early. But yeah, so we teleport back here, and then we can just drop straight down and trigger the cutscene that skips us going back.
Yes. That saves a bunch of time. This is the power of DB. It just murders everything in existence, to be honest.
So we're gonna set up the same thing again this time round, so we can teleport back.
One of you sounds exactly like the Pfizer CEO.
What? Oh my god, I hate the lock-on in this game.
Please, I beg of you.
May the record state that lock-on in this game is bad.
I feel something from within.
Okay.
Hmm?
The stream is buffering. Hold on.
Oh no.
Okay, I'm back. Okay, you're fine, Wendy now.
Yeah.
So the first phase of this boss is scripted. Like here, we can't do any more damage to Wendy. This is Wendy, by the way. I don't know why it's called Wendy. It just is.
They're all named after fairy tale characters, and some of them make sense, but this one doesn't.
I sense magic coming from the center of that eye.
So it's my favourite. A little bit of a few, and then goes away again.
Wait! I think those are actual people.
Hold nothing back. Those are shades.
Oh dang.
Now, focus your magic on the beast's center.
There's a
They
couple
are-
of micro optimizations you can do in this fight, but
I
you're mostly
can't.
just hitting the eye. Yeah, they're a bit limiting.
Look out! Something's
So here we're gonna get lasered, but because we can just teleport, we can skip most of that laser. Oh no. Might get memed here, because I missed a guard lift. Oh, I actually am, aren't I? Please no. Whoa.
trying to pin it down.
If it happens, just stay on the ladder. I'm a bit behind.
Strike it in the eye.
No,
Yeah,
you're good.
if you get bad timing there on the beam can knock you off as soon as you get off the ladder. So yeah, we do this phase,
Escaping to the inner level.
and then we know where she's going next, so we can just get there in time.
Carefully. Won't help anyone. We lose you here.
And we use a buff for this bit.
Damn it.
And then as it opens up, we move over here, so we can shoot in between the tentacle things,
Beyond even my
and I
greatest
don't mash fast enough.
Come on! Help me take it out!
And then yeah, boss dead. But yeah, that's one of the cooler bosses in this run. Got some interesting void out tech. And now we have some more text, so lovely. I feel like it's probably been too soon since the last donation message for there to be another one, but if there is, there's a time now.
Well, I want to give you a better idea of what the money that you are donating might actually go towards. So we've raised over 9,000, right? Like we said. Well, imagine that $2,000 can stock an emergency clinic for over 4 months, providing essential items like IV fluids and infection control supplies. So with the 8K plus 1K is actually left over, which can be used for a tanker truck of clean water for a remote village during a drought, for example. Yeah, with the other $8,000, you could basically stock an emergency clinic for an entire year and a bit. So that's pretty insane when you think about it, what kind of difference we are making here, guys. So thank you again, everyone, for joining us for the marathon and supporting this great cause. And of course, thank you to all the runners who are making this possible.
Yeah, excellent. So we're heading up to the last area of the game now. We've got all the Vox. So we head back to the village and then we go to the final boss section. So yeah, this is our last ride with Paul. Gonna miss Paul. Been through a lot together. Let's see if I can get a drift here.
Getting raided by Virgin, so I'm gonna have to
Oh
watch the
no,
stream on my phone.
that is not good.
Hey,
Any Virgin media enjoyers?
if Ad would just...
For those that don't know, Virgin Media is a UK internet service provider that we both use. And
Yeah, it's been particularly bad recently.
yeah.
I marvel at how relatively simple
Oh my
a
god.
task this retrieval process
I am
proves
so
to
good at
be.
guard lifts.
It is almost as if someone deliberately set us on this path.
You're overthinking again, Vice.
But
I don't care if it's a trap. Yuna's waiting for me and I'm going.
I see.
You're.
I'll...
And
Yeah, there's not much to talk about here. It's just the same movement you've already seen
Yeah.
before.
It's literally what we do like 12 times throughout the whole game.
Get the boat to the shrine. Shrine's where we've been before. We're going to do shrine skips again, which are cool.
Yep.
I don't think we really explained shrine skips properly the first time, but I'm just going to explain them.
We can
I'm gonna
touch over it.
I'm going to explain them not properly again. Now. Not later. Now. I'm going to do it now. In this area, you normally have to go through 3 separate sections where you push boxes around. They're like puzzle sections. But because of the way it's structured, you can do some clever movement and skip them all. You know how we did the
there's like 6 different shrine skip movement as well.
Yeah, you can skip pretty much all of the shrine stuff. We show off a different one this time, just to show how many options we have.
Which one are you gonna do?
I might try to... Oh my god. I need to kill this guy, otherwise he's gonna hit me.
Just lance him. Oh, okay.
I don't have... I thought equipping lance would take longer, because I have wall equipped.
Nah. I mean, you can also just wall as well. I'm pretty sure I just wall. Yeah,
That
no.
makes sense.
Yes, you lance if you're on PSW. If you're not on PSW, you just wall.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah,
It is
I mean
what
that's
it is.
that's safer anyway. Because if you mistime your wall, then, yeah. Like, Dark Wall is a barrier-based magical ability that you have, and it stops you from being stunned or receiving damage.
We use
It
it
has a long
lot.
charge up time, and it takes mana. Yeah.
We use it a lot during the late game bosses that you're about to see.
I wonder if you're going to go for the hard one or not.
I think I am. But
Okay,
I could definitely
let's
see
go.
myself not getting it. Oh, damn.
Oh, you almost got it.
We will try one more time. Let's go.
Oh, let's go. This one requires almost frame perfect heavy cancel to get into that small space. It's on par with the other shrine movement that we do, but it's just more convenient. But it's harder, technically. So the other one just requires you to do more things. So technically, it would also be harder to do it because you have to do more guard lifts, whereas it's just one straight guard lift. The other one
You've
requires
got options. It's just personal
3.
preference, really.
Yeah. I think the one he just did is slightly faster by maybe a couple of milliseconds. That's it. But it's just, you know, if you fail it twice, you've already lost the time save than doing the other one, which is safer.
Right, I'm actually going to save here because there's a skip I could majorly mess up coming up. And it would actually be faster to load the save if I fail it.
And yet I find it strange.
I'll let Jeff go into the next skip, but basically, if you don't complete the skip in a certain elapsed time, you fail the skip, and the game will not let you skip the segment that we're skipping, basically.
Yeah.
So it's quite pressuring.
What's going to happen is there's going to be a boss fight, and during the boss fight we're going to use a lot of infinite height to skip to the next area. And because we haven't got to a certain point in the boss fight, none of the loading triggers are going to be up yet. So these guys are just going to ask us some questions, and we know the answers because we're gamers. Then we move on to the fight.
Seems the way is open.
And alright, major plot twist incoming.
Yeah, this is the hardest part of the run.
It's the girls that have been giving us quests this entire time. They were the real bad guys. Nobody knew that would
What's
happen.
happening?
So yeah, I'm gonna go into some
I believe-
insane focus mode here.
Yeah, this requires a lot of focus, so I'll remain silent as well, because yeah, you can lose a lot of time if you mess this up.
Just listen to the dialogue that we're gonna keep interrupting with pauses.
Stay. We spoke to truth. You really wanted to avoid this possible. You were hoping to put it off for 100 years or so. Until the next generation came along.
What are you talking about? Are they shades?
I don't think so.
It's a lie. I don't believe it.
Easiest skip of my life.
Kill him, you glorious
Let's go.
bastards. Kill them all.
So now there's supposed to be a lot of bosses that spawn here, and they're just gonna not do that. So we just get to run through the entire area, and that's the only really big skip in this round.
It
It
saves
saves-
minutes, like a lot of time.
Yeah. It's you skip
Um,
like 3 boss encounters or something silly like that.
Yeah, it's 3 of the same boss, basically. You also skip a bunch of mob encounters as well.
Cutscenes.
Yeah, it saves so much time.
Dialogue you'd have to skip
It's,
through.
it's just hard to do. Yeah, it's just...
Yeah. Yeah, it can be kind of toxic. Is the word I'll use at the end of long runs. When you just get to the end and you have to do that. And if you mess up once, you lose like a minute.
Yeah, you'll lose... you can lose your whole run, basically. Yeah, I've had numerous runs over a 3-hour period where I've been on really good pace and I've lost like countless minutes just to the end. It's like the most frustrating point to reset at. Yeah, you always want to first try it. If you don't first try it, you'll lose a bunch of time because of the amount of time Infinite Height takes. So yeah, for whatever reason, the triggers are not linked in that area properly, so we can skip them by going over the wall.
You and us, we're the same.
Oh my god, just hit the boss. There's a lock on this placebo in this game.
Please, don't do this, Popola.
Yeah, so this boss is they're filled with dialogue armor basically, but because we have such high damage, we're just doing a lot of damage to them. We can kill them very quickly.
Yeah, and we're using wall because she's gonna spam
I don't want to
a
do
bunch of
Yeah,
projectiles.
she's not knocked you
I don't want to
otherwise.
fight her.
So
Stop bitching and start fighting. It's the only way.
And we can kill her with all the dialogue because we're gamers. And there's a few cutscenes here. Quite a lot of cutscenes here. So we're gonna actually use a different spell here, which is Dark Hand, which we can charge up, and then we get to the
just
end.
DB these.
and then we DB the rest. Yeah, I kind of messed it up there. It's supposed to hit a lot more than I did.
You can DB them for the whole time. Like, it's just really faster on New Game Plus B to just DB spam with magic buff.
Oh man, I've majorly messed up this section. I'm losing seconds to my...
Yeah, just DB.
Yeah, I will, sorry.
This
Because the charge up time for the hand is really long.
strike hard.
Okay.
Oh, nothing back.
So we get this
This boss
here,
is probably...
and we just cycle it.
Yeah.
He's supposed to
just
turn
gets
into a
smothered.
ball and chase you around, but we do enough damage that he doesn't have time.
Be careful.
I know.
Hey, sunshine. I ain't certain about this, but I think
This boss is probably the most skill-based boss in the whole game. Like, there's a lot of different things you can do with this boss, and
I don't
queuing your
know any
attacks up
of
to
them.
stun lock him. Yeah, it's quite difficult, actually. But if you time your lights properly, you can stun lock the boss. He's actually gaining it right now. But yeah, you have to roll a lot out of his attacks.
I've experienced fear, hate, and then
Yeah, light spamming, you can stun lock him, and he just won't do anything. And if you get that, then you save a bunch of time. I've had it in a few runs.
he still accepts me. He still forgives me.
oh, come on. You're doing this for
Yeah, we're just mashing attacks and also mashing Dark Blast.
Everybody in it.
We do lots of damage.
On his sword one last time.
Nice, that's the first phase.
That's not bad. Second phase, he's flying around a lot. So we're going to use magic instead. Just mash him.
Yeah, he has a lot of dialogue armor at this point, like to a point where melee weapons are not effective anymore.
Think I'm gonna
So
sympathize
we are
with you?
literally only using DB because DB with magic buff is the best way to deal DPS.
Someone puts them
So
in danger. They will stand
we're
aside
basically
or
going
cut
through that
down.
dialogue armor
Now, come on. Let's
with
finish
the
this.
strongest tool we have.
It may look silly, but this is the fastest way to kill the boss.
Yeah. You save a lot of time based on how fast you mash DB here.
If he comes to the ground, you
It's
can
well,
throw some melee in there, but it's just not worth to do aerial melee.
yeah, usually he doesn't land on the ground. Like, if he doesn't hit you ever and stop you from DBing, then usually he doesn't land.
And this is the last bit. We just run through these orbs, whack him 3 times.
I have something to defend.
Yeah, Jeff likes to use a different method of going through the orbs,
It's cool.
which is like iframe abusing. It works out though.
Yeah. And that's it. That's the
I
game.
tend to just
Pretty much.
YOLO.
We call time at a quite weird point because there's no actual good ending point for this category. So we're gonna get a cutscene that we skip, and then as soon as we walk here, yeah, that's time. Boom. As soon as we get into this
GG's.
unskippable cutscene. There actually was the time there. I thought everyone was pretty
what did you get?
not bad.
You can have this cookie.
Don't worry about it, Yona.
Let's see.
I'm already full.
The time is about 1:21 flat, pretty much.
Dang,
Someone
think
forgot to
that-
stop the timer, so yeah.
that might actually be faster than my PB RTA, so that's cool.
Is it a PB?
I think this might have been a
Look.
PB is the last thing.
Come on.
I don't know. I didn't have any loader mover on, so it's hard to compare. But could well have been.
I can just check your current
Damn.
time. It's not PB. It's really close though.
Ah, dang. Okay. Do you mind if I do a few shout outs?
What?
I will take that as a no. We don't mind if you do a few shout outs. If you like the look of this game and want to run it, go to sponsoredbydrakengard.com. That will take you to the Discord server for the Nier speedrunning community, and there will be lots of lovely people there that will be happy to help you. And also, you can talk to them when you don't like the game, and they will agree with you.
Thanks for
Also,
there for me.
Dark Sassy is coming up next. I'll be racing that with Fudge. If you don't know what Dark Sassy is, then get to know. It's sick. Stick around, watch that. Do you want to shout anything out, One Cardinal?
No, not in particular. But like, yeah, as Jeff said, if you're interested in running the game, please come by. And we're very sure that there's more to learn about the game. We just need more people, really. Yeah, feel free to come by.
Alright, cool beans.
Also, guys, thank you so much for the amazing run, Jeff, and for the commentary, Cardinal. Like was mentioned, please don't go anywhere. As coming up next, indeed, is Dark Sassy, and that is quite the treat to witness